Okay, we got a 1998 Volvo S90. We're attempting to replace the heater control valve. Now, the old one, look, it might have had the wrong one in there. Now, we're trying to figure out the direction of flow here. I don't know if you can see that. This one's showing that it runs in to the heater core. That hose right there was the one going here on the bottom. Now this was missing the bracket, and then the hoses were aftermarket hoses, but we bought all the molded ones from the dealership just to make sure. I think one of them was the correct one, the one on top, and then this one is the other one that comes from the dealer. And this one here, no, this is the one that we had. They're both from the dealer. And then this one here has to be cut right here. The dealer marks it for you. So this hose sits in there something like that. It goes on that bottom pipe over there. And then it also goes, I don't know if you can see anything back here, but there's two pipes, and it goes on the one furthest to the back, which is, let's see with the light. Get my hand back there, but it's that one further in the back. My finger dancing back there. That's that one. Bottom, back. That bottom one to the back one in the direction of flow. So we got the bracket. We found the one used at the dealer, at that junkyard. So this one has a thing right on there. So I kind of was playing with this, try to figure out how it's going to sit in there, because there's nothing to tell me how to do it. And I thought I seen a car that was similar to it. And it's going to sit there something like that. There you go. And then I have a little 10 millimeter bolt there. I have a hose here to go to there. And then that other side will go to that back hose. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Cut the hose, mount it on here, and then put it on there. First put that one on the bottom over there, and then I'll do the one in the back over there. I'll be right back. Okay, just to show you what we did here, this hose is like that, and it came marked. So we made two cuts, one there, one there. So then now, all we're going to do is put the heater control valve right in between and put brackets on there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm getting ready to mount the first hose, and I just had to kind of keep turning it to make sure I had the alignment right. And if you could see, it's not tight yet, but that's going to go right in there. So I just wanted to make sure that it was sitting in there correctly. You just kind of have to keep turning the hose and try to get it all the way in there. And then right now, just make sure that bracket's not going to get in the way of that valve. So I might just push it down and tighten it up. Almost not possible to do this sometimes with one hand. What we'll do is we'll line up that bolt. I kind of wanted to leave the bolt upwards in case something were to go wrong. I can tighten it. But I think since it's going to sit there like that, I'd still be able to get a socket in there later, or a screwdriver if it's sitting on the firewall like that, because there's not a lot of stuff in the front of this. So that'll go like that, and then that one will go there, and we'll do the same thing and put a bracket on there like that. Get a new one. Go back in a little bit. Okay, so I was having a little problem trying to get the hoses in here. I don't want to damage this valve. This thing was like $80 at the dealer. So I got a little bit of WD-40 and I sprayed it on here. I'm gonna see if that's gonna help me slide it in a little bit. Okay, so I had a hard time trying to get this in here. And I don't know if I can stand this up to show you how I kind of did this. There we go. So I kind of squeezed it, kind of pushed it, squeezed it, pushed it. There it goes. Real slowly. squeezed it, pushed it, squeezed it, pushed it, and I got it to go all the way in there. I was having a hell of a time. I mean, even the WD-40, it just was really tight. I was trying to turn it, and it wouldn't go in any further. But I wanted to make sure it was all the way in, just like the other side. And then you got to make sure that this hose is kind of facing down. So once this sits like this against the firewall, that's got to face down because it's going to go into the pipe. And that one has like an angle, like kind of like it would sit in right now. So I'll put that bracket on there, put the other brackets, and try to get it in there. Okay, we're back. So anyways, I finally got these on there. I tried to use some new clamps. I had a big old thing of clamps, new ones, and these things are garbage. They're like stripped out as soon as they tighten them down. It's really good. So I had a bunch of original ones. I don't know what company this is, but these are pretty good ones. So wanted to put them new, but anyways, these ones are really good. They tighten down really good. I found a few more that I'm going to use for the ends, and then I need 2 more for the other hose. So I'm going to try to put it in. Okay, so you're going to need a long 10mm socket. Tighten up that bolt there and try to get this to kind of sit flat. And then this will go up here. That goes right in there. And then we're going to get our bracket. Kind of turn it. You know what, actually you want to turn that going up so that way I can tighten it better. Easier if I flip it around and the nuts facing up so that I can tighten it. Always want to make your job easier. And like that tore. So right there, I'll be able to tighten it there. And then we move on to the next step. So we're tightening down this bracket. Pretty tight. Make sure that hose is all the way in, okay? Okay, the next step is getting that hose back there. Tighten it up a little bit. Now you could put a little bit of grease on there if you want. I can actually get it there. There it goes. Just push down as much as you can. There's not a lot of room back here. Just try to push it in as best I can. And put a little bit more muscle in it. Can't do this with one hand. Okay, just to show you guys real quick. See if we can get in there and see. See where that hose came down. Make sure we get it far enough down. Maybe almost 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So right now I got my ratchet on it. I'm gonna try to tighten it from up here. And it'll be a little process because it's not a lot of room in there. Usually I got my drill bit with an angle on it. And I can at least tighten it really quick. And then just the last couple of steps I can tighten it up with the ratchet. I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna try to do that for a little bit and I'll be right back. Just be a little careful when you're working back here because there's a lot of vacuum lines back here. I accidentally unplugged this one, just hitting it against it. So just make sure those vacuum lines are all back in there like they're supposed to be. Well, anyways, we got that hose in, the bottom one. We're gonna have to do the top one. And then there's a little vacuum hose here that attaches to that heater control valve. This is the hose here, kind of has a bend to it. And you just kind of push and it should go right in. There it goes. And that's that part. So now we just get the other hose this one hopefully will be a little bit easier. This one's just gonna sit kind of like that. I'm gonna take these stickers off, and then it just sits like that. That one goes in there, and then there's the other pipe that goes in there. That's pretty much it. We fill it up with coolant, turn the heater on, run it. I mean, some guys say to just put it on heat and then no air. My mechanic has told me to actually put it on defrost and put the heat all the way up. And once heat starts coming out, then we know that it actually circulated through the heater core, which makes more sense. The other way, the car's got to heat up a long time, I guess, for you to bleed it. And then let it cool down, and then just check your fluid. Just top it off. These kind of self-bleed. There's not a bleeder valve. So I'll go ahead and put that hose on and we'll be right back. Okay, so I was getting ready to run the second hose, and I thought I was going to have to go behind all this stuff, but it actually sits better if I run it in front. So let's do that. Change this bracket real quick so it sits like the other one. Yeah, this looks like it actually sit a little better. Like so. Get that all the way in there. And then the bracket will go right there. Just be real careful around here. You got this accelerator cable. If you whack on it or move or bump into it, you can break it really easy. I've had to replace this one. Okay, so then that'll go like that. It kind of just sits down. This one kind of sits over the top of that one. And then that'll go down, and I'll figure out where it has to go. It has to go to that front part. And then all these other cables will go back. There's like a little bracket right there. I think they just kind of hook onto there. Split room's kind of shot on here. As long as they're there and they're not hitting on anything, we're good. I'll go and tighten that bracket in just a minute. Let's go sit over here. Let's get one of our other brackets. Like I said, if you're going to use brackets, make sure they're good ones. I had bought like a box of a bunch of them, and those things were garbage. I'll do that again. These ones were the original ones that I got at a wrecking yard. I found a bunch of them. I just ended up grabbing them at the same time. So I'm using those, and these seem like they grab really good. I don't know what brand they are, but we'll go and try that. Okay, so we got that one tightened. It was a little bit hard because I guess the bracket had gotten a little elongated, so it was kind of had to grab again and then tighten it. And it tightened up on me, but it wasn't tight. The bracket was still loose, so I got it really tight. Finally got it. So now we're finishing up on tightening up this top one here. And just gonna make sure none of my vacuum lines came off. This one had come off earlier. Make sure that vacuum line's on there. Now, if that comes off real easy, I'm gonna change it, but now I'm pulling on it, it's good. I kind of have a couple extra ones. So I think we're good now. I'm going to add coolant to it and then start her up.